Okay, hi, we're live. I hope I'm in the right group. That always terrifies me just slightly. Even after all these years, thousands and thousands of pieces of content produced, and some days I still go live and I'm like, am I on the right page? Am I in the right spot? So I'm actually just going to double check. Yes, okay, perfect. We're here. Hi. Tonight is the season finale. Of the XMH Empire version 2022. How fun is that? And we get to wrap up tonight with part 3 of one of the most powerful messages that I have felt all year long. And if nothing else happens for you tonight, my prayer is that it will put wind in your sails as a female entrepreneur. That is one of my heartbeats as a woman, is to encourage and to inspire and to motivate and to empower with strategies women entrepreneurs. That is one of my heartbeats in life. So if nothing else happens tonight but that, my mission will have been complete. Tonight, I want to talk about this process. The creation of a diamond. The last couple of days, if you haven't joined us live, the replay is still available. But I talked about the process of what happens to create a diamond. The thing that is rare, sought after. Men seek to buy them, women seek to have them. And in the business world, a comparison I made was towards those who truly go through the feeling of being buried, the pressure, discovering and developing their gifts, pressure on pressure. They stand the test of time. And just when they think that they've taken all the pressure that they can take, then the fire starts. And when you've taken it all, you become unbreakable. And you're in the final stage to be cut. So last night we left off on a conversation, and I'm just curious, if you watched part 1 or part 2, can you drop me a note in the comments right now? If you watched part 1, can you comment part 1? And if you saw part 2 last night, were you here for part 2, you can just hashtag part 2 and let me know if you were here for either of those nights. And even if you weren't here for either of those nights, this is still going to make a lot of sense. And I hope that it encourages and inspires your heart as a woman. I'm curious to know as well, like, what was the feeling that you walked away with? Because the thing is, like, often you can watch a masterclass and there's just one sentence. There's one thing that you walk away and you're like, whoa. And it resonates with a feeling within you. And I'm curious what those things are for you so far leading up to today. And if this is your first time really watching, you can hashtag first time so that I know who you are as I revisit this space. So I want to welcome those of you who are live. I see Tanya Paxton Rohr. I see Pearl Poon Lee. I see Julie, Mama Julie. I see Carolyn Coppers. I see Joni Wild. I hope you're feeling better, baby. I know you're had a cold or something this week. I see Mitchell Brown. I see Vicky Ramirez, Tiffany Rose Quinones. I see Candace Rogers. Hey, girl, hey. I see Tahani, Cynthia Campbell, Monica, Jen Mayhew. What's going on, you guys? Let me see. I'm going to actually pull up comments, too, while I'm here. Yes. Okay. Tanil Crest said, it's okay not to know what I'm meant to do, but I will rock it. That I can attend a class, but it is up to me. Heck yes. I'll be so interested to see what else your takeaways are from this space. So good. So good. So good. So good. So I want to welcome you into tonight. I have a lot up my sleeve for you today. You can consider what I'm going to talk about tonight like the finish line, the recap of my 2022, which has been the most wealth building, profitable year of my entire life and existence. And it was also a year where I pushed every single boundary, limitation, real or perceived, that I thought that I had. not from a space of like grinding it out, or like not from a space where I was setting myself up for burnout. It wasn't that. My word for this year was actually the word groundedness. I kind of want to recount the journey to becoming unbreakable, because I know that there are some of you here in this room, in the proverbial room. I know that I am in the homes of people around the entire world tonight who are on the journey of becoming unbreakable. And you're not the type of person that is literally sitting on the sidelines in the holidays going like, yes, it's time for me to lean back, do nothing, chill out, like I'm good. I've heard in the past from one of my greatest mentors, my first mentor who really walked with me like shoulder to shoulder as a sister, the way that I described it last night, the first mentor that I ever had that treated me like my potential and wasn't afraid of me. The first woman that was like that, she told me something that rocked my world, and it was like a masterclass. I could just cry talking about it, but my mentors, just watching them behind the scenes and hearing like one-liners, just watching their life to me is a masterclass. And I remember her talking to me about the holidays. Because there's so many women in business, and there's so many of you who had a dream at the beginning of this year, and you're close to the finish line on some of these things. Some of you even had a month-end vision. I don't like to use the word goal because it incurs pressure, and it has like this negative connotation that I don't really want to grasp into. But I want to say there's some of you that even had like some finish lines just for this specific month. And the rest of the world is like, this is our opportunity to lean back. And there's something about women like me and like you, if that lands with you, that you're like, no, I'm not really made for that. Like, enjoy yourself. But like, I still have some fight in me. I still believe. I just want to know who my people are tonight, because the type of woman who watches a masterclass for entrepreneurs around the holidays is a different kind of animal. The type of animal that I'm picturing is like a leopard stalking in their beauty and their regality. Like, I picture like a wild, regal cat, like spirit animal wise, like that's what I see. But there are some of you that are like, yeah, no, like I'm still in it. And one of my first mentors ever, who I found during the holidays, she explained something to me. And whereas there are probably so many other women entrepreneurs, leaders in the making, mentors, trainers, some of you, this is going to be you next December. Mark my words, some of you are going to be doing this thing. You're going to be on camera leading people around the world next year in December. I see this. Like, I know this to be true. But there are so many mentors around the world who are available. They have the gifting, they have the calling, they have the words, and they have the anointing. Like, God is wanting to speak to them through them tonight, in the end of December, at the finish line, in the holidays, at some of the hardest times for families. And they're choosing to lean out because they think, maybe it's insensitive to teach a business masterclass in the holidays. Who is interested in watching an entrepreneurial motivation during the holidays? And that is one mindset. But my mentor said something that blew me away. This was back in 2019, and she explained to me that the way that her business model ran, she spoke and literally like tripled down on her entrepreneurial voice during the holidays, because she said, You know what? The type of people whose soul is available to be motivated as an entrepreneur around the holidays, they are the movers. They are the one. These are the people who their desire is so tremendous. It's literally do or die. These are the people who, you know, if all was exactly as they wanted it to be, they wouldn't be watching a masterclass around the holidays. But the truth is they know that there's more. And so the type of people that will show up during the holidays because their desire is for greater a year from now, these are the ones you want to run with. And with that in mind, one of my premier clients today, she said something inside of our mastermind. She was like, I can see what you're doing. There's so many people in the online space that are leaning back during the holidays. They're chilling out. They're grabbing their cozy cup. They're checking out. They're letting people miss them. They're disappearing for the holidays. And she's like, I can see how that's not what you're doing. And I can see how you are literally setting up and aligning yourself with the people of your 2023. And I was like, thank you for seeing me. But my point right now is when I made the most significant shift of my career in business between 2018 and 2019, that winter, I was watching masterclasses during the holidays. I was seeking for someone to hold my hand in business. I had never had that yet. I had had some incredible coaching and mentorship from many different stages, like physical stages, like going to many different types of conferences over many years. My personal development journey started in 2011 and I never stopped. But I had never had someone to actually walk with me and treat me like I was a leader. Not that I was less than them or behind them, but someone who treated me like I was a $1 million or $1 billion baby in the making. Someone who spoke to me with like what I described back then, it felt like big sister energy, like loving big sister energy, not bully big sister energy, not like you're not cool enough to hang out with me, my friend's big sister energy, not like maybe you could one day be cool enough like me, big sister energy, but like a loving big sister energy that was like coming along next to me and holding my hand and being like, I've been here before, you're safe, I'm walking with you, I got you. Some of this is going to look crazy as you're growing up, and I'm going to be right here because I've done it before, and I'm with you, and you're not alone. That was my first experience with that, and I found it during the holidays because the truth was my holidays weren't that happy. I wasn't in a good space during the holidays. Not for blame of anyone. No one did anything wrong to me, but I just felt like there was something more in my life available that I didn't have yet, and I was searching. I was searching for the people. I was searching for the circle. I was searching for the community. I was searching for the type of energy. I began talking about this last night about the reparenting process. And if I could, I want to touch that again. How many of you feel like you're available for some reparenting in a way? If so, you can hashtag the word reparenting. So my introduction to business really started in 2011. So a little over a decade ago. And for years, I chose mentorship that was unavailable to me. Anybody here ever have a pattern of choosing people who aren't available to you? You've maybe chosen men who were emotionally unavailable to you. Maybe you married a partner and you're working through the fact that like you don't feel the emotional connection, you don't feel supported, that's a pattern, and it starts when we're young. For some of us, it's not even the fault of our parents. It could be a teacher or any other leader in your life, that when you're a child and you experience being let down, disappointed, or somehow just like big or small t traumatized by a leader in your life, you can begin to be shaped into thinking that that's what all leaders are like. And it's especially challenging if it's your father. Especially challenging. Because we normalize being let down. We normalize being ignored. We can normalize being yelled at. We can normalize being coached really hard. For some of you, it had nothing to do with a parent. Some of it was a sports coach. Some of it was a teacher. Some of it was a spiritual leader. Does anyone identify with this right now? And please feel free, if it feels aligned, throw me some comments in here, because my comments aren't working on this phone, but I can see them on this phone, and I'm like, I want to watch your comments. And the more that you comment, the more it kicks in the faster. So if it feels aligned for you, go ahead and throw me some lightning bolts. Oh my God, Lillian is here. Hey, Ray Ray. Oh, it's so good to see your names. Okay, I want them to kick in over here. Yeah, so I'm not going to blame and I'm not going to name, because the thing is like radical self-responsibility. I don't blame people for who I am and where I am. I thank them for where I am and the lessons. But in hindsight, when I look back at my life, I see a pattern where over and over and over and over again, I chose romance partners, leaders, and friends who were not available to me. I truly felt that I was an annoying person. And so although I craved the leadership, the guidance, the love, the divine masculine energy that I find in many female coaches, the structure, the tenderness, the generosity, the security, the feeling of like, I've got you, girl. I've gotten that through so many great female coaches and some male coaches too. But for years, I wanted that so badly, but I continually chose coaches, mentors, and spiritual leaders that were emotionally unavailable or borderline abusive. Because I had a mental out picturing that that was what leadership was like. And because I believed that, or I initially experienced it, I know somewhere in my inner person, I was also looking for proof that that might not be true. So I kept on creating and manufacturing and like subconsciously producing opportunities where I would end up working with people or living life with people who I then felt annoying to. And this followed me into business mentorship. And so I made it comfortable to work with mentors who in some ways like crushed me or made me feel stupid. And this was many mentors. I'm not naming names of one person, but my experience with some business mentorship was like my questions were invalidated, or my feelings were invalidated, or my experience was invalidated, or I was made to feel like I was stupid because I didn't follow exactly their plan. And this happened over and over and over again. Until the end of 2018, when I literally had a spiritual download that was like, this doesn't need to be this way. And I believe that my subconscious self was asking for reparenting. So the beautiful thing about being a woman in her power is that you get to reparent yourself and you get to notice the patterns. And if you have a pattern of aligning yourself with leaders who are emotionally unavailable to you, and you can see it, then you have the option to make a better decision. And at the end of 2018, when I had this experience of walking along the Baltic Sea and really feeling, my lipstick is weird, really feeling like there was something more available to me, I felt there has to be a more loving approach that I feel safe growing within. And so my heart opened wide And during the holidays of 2018, I started looking. I was gonna spend the money anyways to get business coached. I had been spending money to get coached for years. That wasn't something new to me. Whereas for some of you, like, you've never even paid for business coaching, so some of what I'm gonna say is a little bit foreign. But like, I had a personal standard of, I invest money to walk with people who are ahead of me, who can give me valuable feedback, and really keep my head in the game. Now that last line is really important. If I got nothing else from the coaches that felt emotionally unavailable or like a little bit rough around the edges, one thing that they did have is that they kept my head in the game. So if you're live, if you're catching this on replay, I need you to type head in the game. Because to me, that's 50% of why I have mentors. But I knew that there was something else available. So I opened my heart and I was looking for a different energy with a coach. I didn't want someone who felt distant. I didn't just want to go to a conference once a month. I wanted to find someone that I had more access to. I wanted someone that I could literally connect with somehow weekly. And not just through like recorded material, but like talk with them. Like a way to get feedback. Is there anyone else who loves feedback? Like not soul-crushing feedback, but like valuable feedback. I wanted places where I could interact and get feedback. I wanted to know more than every 6 to 8 weeks or once a month. I wanted to know more than that if I was on the right track. I knew that I was looking for more. My journey to Unbreakable escalated when I chose the option to reparent my spirit and reparent my expectations. And I opened myself up to the possibility that there were mentors out there who would coach me like I was their little sister. And that they saw my greatness. They saw my power. They weren't threatened by me getting bigger than they were. I didn't feel like I had to watch my back around them. I was never nervous of them dropping me or judging me or like losing their temper with me. I wanted my nervous system to be grounded while I was working with my mentors. I needed to feel safe, and I began to look for evidence for that. And I found it during the holidays of 2018. And I know in the depths of my soul, otherwise I wouldn't be here tonight, that some of you are looking for the exact same thing. You know you're made for more. You watch day 1 and day 2 and you're like, yeah, I can totally align with that. I have felt buried, unseen. I know that I have hidden talent and skill that must be developed for it to really shine. I feel the pressure. I feel like it's do or die time. I sometimes feel like this is impossible or crazy, and yet the desire is there. Some of you have surpassed that. You already are in business in a way, and now you're experiencing the fires. And every fire makes you want to throw in the towel because there's not someone walking hand in hand with you, normalizing the fact that like, no, this is not a negative. This is refinement. There isn't someone helping you extract the lessons from the fires that you're in and make the right next moves. And if I didn't believe that there were people in my audience around the holidays who are seeking the next right move and the person who will walk side by side with them, shoulder to shoulder with them in 2023, if I didn't believe that I literally have diamonds uncut in my audience, people who are like, I'm sweary, so I'm not going to feel bad about this, but like people who are fucking unbreakable. If I didn't believe that was available in my audience, I wouldn't be here tonight. But there are some of you who are like right on the edge. You've already been through the journey of unbreakable. You've been let down so many times in your life. You felt invisible. You have felt annoying. You have felt hidden. You've been, aligned to emotionally distant people and made the best of it. You've been through fire after fire after fire. And you are the type of person that is like unbreakable already. And you are literally a year out. Hear me. There's so many of you who are a year out from everything that you've been looking for. And it's just time to put yourself in the hands of an artist and allow yourself to be shaped and cut, refined. My husband and I, we took a date day today, which was pretty cool. I take my Thursdays as like an energetic regeneration day, and I'm getting even more serious about that for 2023. I kind of want to share like behind the scenes of our brand. Something major is shifting for 2023. There's been a little bit of, if I can be so vulnerable, there's been a little bit of a fear in me since 2018 because I had to do so much healing work from the way that I was coached and mentored the first several years of my business career. I did a lot of healing work. And again, I promise I'm not blaming, I'm not naming, I'm not pointing fingers because it wasn't one person. It was my choice to align with people who were emotionally distant and really tough on me because that had been my standard my entire life. When you're a little girl and you get extremely disappointed, let down, or hurt as a little kid, there's a couple options of what happens to the female spirit. One option is it breaks you. Become shy, withdrawn, afraid, small. You just make yourself small so that no one notices you and you can't get hurt anymore. That's one outcome. But these 3 days, last night, the night before, and tonight, these 3 days are about the woman who experienced things like this as a kid, but instead of becoming as small as freaking possible, your little feminine heart got thrown into masculine hyperdrive. And it looks like no one's coming to rescue me. I trust no one, and I'll do this on my own. And you become a fighter. This can happen at many different stages in life, but for some of you, it started as a kid. And what I want to say about this is like, this doesn't make you like this broken person. You got some work to do on energetics for damn sure. Like we have some work to do together on your energetics to heal this stuff, which is a lot of what's happening in programs this month, like Iconic and Clear to Soar, which are like a steal of a price for the type of work that we're doing in those spaces. But there's healing available. But when you've lived like that for years and you've walked in like very like hyperdrive masculine energy, and you finally swing the pendulum over to some level of like balance and groundedness, there can be a little bit of a fear of going back. And in 2022, this was my journey because it took me several years to heal and to reparent myself and to align with other female mentors who literally treated me like gold and taught me how to treat people. And in that time frame, it felt like I finally found groundedness. This was the year of groundedness. And so everything that I did this year was from a place of like, I don't want to swing my pendulum so far over to the masculine ever again. I don't want to burn out. Like I want to stay so grounded because I know I know what it looks like to swing the pendulum over here and align yourself with so much drive and masculine energy that like like you are a couple weeks out from a burnout every month. And you begin to treat people differently when you're so far, when your pendulum is way over here in the masculine from the way that you grew up, and when you're working from hurt. I've seen this in mentors who are literally coaching from their hurt, and they're coaching from their fear, and their pendulum is way over here, and all of their decisions leave a trail of bodies behind them. I've seen it in men and women coaches. And once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. And I made it my mission to be the opposite. Instead of letting it make me bitter, instead of pointing fingers anymore, I chose to release it and to create what I knew I could be. To let myself be crafted and cut into a better leader. I'm so grateful. So this year was a year of being like, okay, like I'm here for the groundedness, and I really want to watch it. I want to watch myself. I want to observe. I want to do more work to swing to the pendulum of feminine energetics while still having masculine structure in my brand. And as much as it felt aligned for me, I stepped into the divine masculine. And I decided from a really rooted and grounded place to push on the perceived limits that I had been bought, or that I had bought throughout my lifetime, and the ones that had been sold to me, including the limitations around women, motherhood, and money. I decided to just lovingly push on those. Not out of striving, not out of greed, not out of performance anxiety. It was like, what am I made of? What's available? What out of my belief systems is true and what is fake? And I want to push on my beliefs and find out what I'm made of. And so many of you are exactly like this. You lived a life that has already made you unbreakable. You've been through being buried. You've buried other people, your loved ones. You've lost big already. You've already been through pressure. There are some of you who have walked through so much pressure, it's almost like you can't even feel it anymore. And then you've been through fires. And you're already unbreakable. There's some of you that have a past that could have and should have destroyed you, but you swung the pendulum into a mode of like power. They say that the test of a diamond is, can it take pressure? The truth of a diamond is its unbreakability. You're already there. It's time for refinement. It's time to be polished. It's time to let somebody who loves you lovingly cut the old off. It's time to allow yourself to be shaped. You've already come this far. Why would you stop here? This isn't stop time. I love the old teachers. Like I love the old teachers of business and manifestation who say that the graveyard is literally the richest place on the planet because so many people go to the grave with like their acres of diamonds still within. And all of you have this. And there's just not a voice in your life saying like, do you know you're right there? Do you know you're in the fourth quarter? Do you know you're literally in the end zone? Like this isn't the place to stop. You've already gone through the crushing, the pressure, the fire. You've already gone through. Why would you stop now? And it's time to actually allow yourself to be put in the hands of a craftsman. Like, don't quit here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Don't quit here. You've already gone through so much. Don't stop now. You're at the good part. This isn't the time. There's not a lot of voices saying this kind of stuff to women. There's a lot of rhetoric right now that's like, oh, feminine energetics flow, lean back. And I'm like, no, divine masculine energy is, it's not this like drive, hustle, push. I actually came on this tangent because I take Thursdays off, and in the year 2023, I'm going to be like completely off on Thursdays. Off from everything. Like complete energetic reset. And if you're in locked and loaded, or if you're in MDM, or if you're a private client, like you're going to take those days off too, at least from my space. Because even the most top performing athletes, you have to understand something. Like, is there any sports fans? Like, I know it doesn't come across that way, but like I love basketball. I'm obsessed with basketball. If I could have like something on my dream list for, maybe 2024 or 2025, probably 2025 when my kids are bigger. But one of my like dream list goals is to have like courtside tickets to one of my favorite teams and go to like every game. And I don't even have to really love the team. It's the athletics. It's like the power that I love to witness. It's the mindset and the performance. And you can tell when people are like at the end of their, what they think their strength is. And then they pull something out that you're just like, wow. Like I'm obsessed. But if you follow different sports teams, it's like there's some teams that they can win. Like they get wins here and there. And there's athletes that are like this. It's like, yes, like they have the ability to shoot a 3-pointer. They have the ability to like slam dunk. They have the ability to like really school someone and like get past someone and around someone. Like they have the footwork. They have the skill. Okay, so I have some basketball fans. Yes. And in the business world, there are a lot of entrepreneurs right now that have the skill. They can make a good month in business. How many of you guys know you already can make a good month in business? You've done it at least once. You've pulled a rabbit out of the hat at least once in your life, and it blew your own mind. And you're like, yes, I got this. I can sell. I can show up. I can close. Not that closing is really the energy that I want to live in, but like, you can. You've done it before. So you've got this skill. So there's athletes and there's teams that have the skill. And then there's teams that dominate. Like every time. It's not they can, but they didn't. It's they dominate. A part of that, part of that is the pressure. So many of you look at your past and where you came from and how your mind works and the drive and the ability that you have inside to literally just like be like this animal. And you see it as a weakness because there's a lot of programming out there that's like, no, masculine energy is toxic. Like you shouldn't hustle, you shouldn't grind. Like, no, some of you literally have a gift of ability and it's time for refinement. There's teams out there that dominate because there has been some pressure. Like they walk in and there's an expectation that this is an organization where we win. There's an expectation on you. There's an expectation on you that you will show up and be refined. There's drills. There's like practical application. It's a team. If you let you down, you let everyone down. And it's amazing how there can be an athlete that plays for a team and they suck on that team and they switch team organizations and they go to an organization where there's an expectation that they win and the person skyrockets. There's something to be said about the team and the circle that you're playing with, the circle that you're playing on. And there is a level of what you could call pressure, but I like to call it faith. Like, make a simple switch. If you don't love that word pressure, it's like, what if it's that you're part of an organization where people have faith in you and they can see your outcome and they can see how great you are and there's someone in your ear telling you like, you're made for this. Let's get out there. That is next level coaching. Some of you have the inner fortitude to have your wildest dreams and you just haven't been refined yet. You haven't played on a team. You haven't been surrounded by a circle of. You haven't walked with a mentor who's like, it's okay to be a little bit goal aggressive because guess what? You're made for this. And also, you will institute recuperation. So if you're live, if you know how to spell this word, because I fuck it up every time, but like recuperation days, regeneration days, weekends off, time off, going and making memories, like putting the phone in a drawer. In 2023, my Thursdays are going to be a strict off-limits zone for my life. And I'm going to encourage everyone who is part of like our organizations, MDM. I say MDM, but it's $1 Million Mentorship, right? Like my highest level mastermind. Like of course, my team will support them on those days and they will be checked in on, but like I am not going to be available on Thursdays. And I'm going to encourage all of my clients to literally disconnect from the phone on Thursdays and go live their life. If you play sports, you don't abuse your body every day and then ask for more. You literally give yourself regeneration time. You go get someone to take care of you. If you've ever watched athletes behind the scene, they go and they get their bodies taped. They go get massages, forced time off. Are you catching what I'm laying down? Like I had a fear of burning myself out. And so I spent a year in what I call like groundedness, which is just like making sure that like I'm super stable in the middle so that I don't fly my pendulum over here. But what I realized is the things that I feared over here are the things that actually structure someone in business and cause them to soar. As long as there's balance. Are you catching me? So whether it's Thursday or it's Tuesday or whatever day it's going to be, like there's going to be a day every week that I'm going to encourage my clients, like unplug, disconnect, go take care of yourself. Have a day with your whole like spouse or like go to the spa. And this is how you build business. Like there's that old phrase of like, yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup. Like Literally, you will not be sustainable in business. How many of you guys have ever burned out in business before? You were goal aggressive, you did it for a while, and then your body was like, fuck you, we're done. We're done. Sometimes that manifests in like autoimmune diseases. It can manifest as a cold or a flu. It can sneak up on you as like high level depression, migraines, anxiety. Everybody's like, yo, peace out. We done. You ain't gonna do this to us, girl. Bye. It's because you had no balance. So my 2023 is literally going to be a model where I model this with my clients. Recuperation days. Time off. You want to dominate. There's going to be faith in you. There's going to be expectation on you. Faith because I see your greatness. I know what you're made of. I know what you can do. And there's going to be something called, at the beginning, it's going to feel like forced time off. But it's really, I look at it as like my regeneration days. I have to have them now. Like, I didn't feel that I had to have them until we hit like the Q4 of this year, because I really pushed. I pushed on my limits. I pushed to see what I was made of in Q4. And I was like, yeah, if this is ever going to be sustainable for me, like I'm going to tighten up everything in my life. Like, I'm going to be a scientist with my body and my business. Because I aspire to have a $10 million year. And that only comes with a level of divine masculine energy, structure, generosity, like real support, days off, regenerating, healing, thinking time. It's really weird how in the beginning of business, it feels like the more you do, the more traction you get. And then there comes a point when you realize that it's not the more you do, the more traction you get. It's the more strategic you are about what you do and when you do it. And then balancing it back. That's where we are. And I'm ready to model this in real time with my clients. Locked and Loaded is going to be a completely different place this year. Like, I thought it was the shit in 2022. All my clients who were in Locked and Loaded were like, this was the best business decision I have ever made, hands down, period, point blank. I had a client, freaking amazing client, message me. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. My days are kind of like coming together towards the end of the year. Oh. And she was like, literally, if I paid my monthly membership for Locked and Loaded the whole entire year and only got the last month of what you've been doing and these activations that we're doing around energetics and emotions, if that's all I got for all the money that I spent, which everything else has been amazing up until this point, but if that's all that I got, I feel like a billionaire. So to toot my own horn and pat my own back, like Locked and Loaded is the shit. And I've been doing what I said I didn't want to do, which is I have held back and I have coached from my fear. My fear of burning out or burning people out. And I hired a coach in the last couple months that really showed me that what I was afraid of was actually the key to the next move. And I'm bringing it all into Locked and Loaded and MDM next year. So all of that was a tangent. That wasn't even what I wanted to talk about. I hope it was helpful. Has this been helpful? Just let me know. So we went to the movies today. I'm not real big on action or war or whatever. We went to see Avatar. So without any spoilers, we went to see Avatar. And it was way too much for my nervous system. It was not the vibe. I ended up sitting there with my husband and holding his hand and touching legs. But I was just like, bro, like, I can't with this show. It's 3 hours long. I know you want to be here. And if it's cool with you, because I feel like I want to cry watching this. It's too much for me. It was like war, right? When you mix war against children, war against nature, and you put it all in the same movie, not my vibe. It's like the things I love the most being attacked, not good for me. Can't watch this. I need to, like, this is my regeneration day. We're having the opposite effect. So I popped in earbuds and I listened to something else and just held my husband's hand while he watched the movie. It was really nice and relaxing. But one thing that I actually got out of this movie was a quote that happened from a Marine in the movie. And he was talking about the concept of being unbreakable, which was so in alignment with this week, Diamonds Uncut, the whole concept of becoming unbreakable. And he said something that I was like, oh, you just described me and all my girls. And before I share the quote, there's something that I have observed over the last years, watching and being led by and shaped by and lovingly like cut and artistically fashioned by walking with other women entrepreneurs who are high level and emotionally intelligent and so healing for me. I just heard Maeve go, Mama. I love her. And the thing is, like, I watch my mentors, and my clients say this about me, so I know that the feeling is mutual, but I watch these mentors and it's like watching their life as a masterclass. And I intentionally am aligning myself with people who are like a couple steps ahead of me, not in like a mean way to me, but like, or not in a diminishing way for my power, but like, I just know that they're experiencing stuff that I'm about to hit. They're walking through the fires that I know are coming for me. And they're not getting bitter. They're letting it make them better. And they don't let it crush them. I watch them navigate it with grace. I'm watching one of my mentors do it right now, and I'm just like in awe. And so I intentionally walk with people who are just a little bit ahead of me because it normalizes when whatever happened to them happens to me. I'm like, I remember when that happened with you and you modeled how to handle it. Yes. Okay, yes. And what I've noticed is that, like, when you truly are a heart-centered leader, like you lead from the heart, you lead from impact, legacy, when it's truly not just about you and how much money you can make, but it's about that and changing the world and rising with other women, and it's like a mutual respect and love together, there's something that happens when the fires come for you. And it's that no amount of hatred can ever take down love. When you have an unbreakable spirit, when you have the heart of a diamond, when you've lived a life that felt like pressure and fires, and you're finally at this place where, like, yes, you feel literally unbreakable. The craziest stuff can happen to you and you wake up and you're like, it's just another Thursday. Yep, this is uncomfortable. What do I need to do to take care of myself today? And #normal. Like, is there anyone else out there that's like this? When you have that unbreakable spirit like that, people can't take you out of the game. You don't have quit energy in you. You didn't go through all of that to become a quitter. You're certain that there's more, so you're unstoppable. And the truth is, when you are a diamond, you can get taken out of the game for a week or a month. Like, big things can happen and it can knock you off for a minute, but literally there is no hate in the world that can diminish you because you are love. That's a diamond. This is the difference between letting hard situations turn you into a rock right? You can become a rock. You can become hard and dark. Or you can become a diamond. Like regal, remarkable, breathtaking, glowing from within, a light to everyone who sees it, reflecting back the light in others. This is what I'm after. We've had enough of hard things making us hard. You're right there. Let yourself be cut into the diamond. Do you see? So there was something in this movie that was like, this guy is like, you can't even kill people like me. And I thought to myself, I feel that, which is a very bold statement. But like, you can't kill people like me and my girls. Like the women like me, like you can't kill us. You could knock us down for a week. That's possible. We might cry. But the truth is that the love in our hearts won't stop. Who we came here to be is unending. We are unbreakable. And even if you killed us, we would go to the other side and regenerate and bring back more people like us. Like, if you have this type of heart, this type of spirit, and you're walking this planet, there's like, you can't even like kill people like us. Like, we just regroup, reproduce, and come back stronger. This is a diamond. This is an unbreakable spirit. Not that I'm anticipating it, but if I died tomorrow, I feel the certainty that like my work wouldn't be over and I would go and regroup and regenerate and like send back more love even stronger. Do you see what I'm saying? I think some of you guys' ancestors are like that, and that's why you're here. You're made for impact. You're made to do something so much bigger. And what I want to say to you is, get on a winning team. Get with the right circle. Allow yourself to walk with mentors that have like a healing energy that helps you reparent your beliefs. It's all available to you. Allow yourself to be put in the hands of someone who is an artist, who will shape you and refine you. Let yourself be polished into what you're created for. You're already unbreakable. And this message isn't for everyone. Like I said that in night number 1. I'm like, this isn't going to land for everyone because it's a certain type of person who's like this. Not everyone gets this. But if you identify with being someone who has been through like the craziest shit and you feel unbreakable, in my opinion, that's some of the best material that a mentor like myself could ever work with. You're just a diamond uncut. Don't stop at rock. Allow yourself to be shaped. Allow yourself the privilege of walking with leadership and sisterhood who will let you become what you came here to be. Don't quit in the 4th quarter. Don't quit when you're at the finish line. Don't stop at like, yes, life has hardened me. Allow yourself to become a diamond. Rare. So rare. I asked this in night 1 and night 2, like, how many millionaires do you know? How many multimillionaires do you know who are heart-centered? That's a diamond. That is a diamond. You can picture them off the top of your head. You know who they are. It's rare. And there's a reason why there's a handful of multimillionaire coaches. because these are the women who walked all the way through the finish line to become a diamond. They didn't stop at life has hardened me and now I'm a rock. They didn't stop at this is too much pressure and too much heat, I'm out. They allowed themselves to be spoken to like this, encouraged, motivated, empowered. They allowed themselves to have a voice in their ear telling them, this is the process. You're right there. Don't stop now. This isn't where you pull back. Go take a day off. But you're made for this. Get back in there. I've got you. The handful of diamonds in the industry that you know, they let themselves walk all the way through the finish line. And that is what I'm inviting you into when you are in my world in 2023. So there's something insane happening this month. Insane. It's on the 28th, December 28th. I'm going to be pulling names from a draw. I think we're actually going to use like one of those automated things to do it. But there's clients inside of a space called Clear to Soar. If you're in Clear to Soar, can you hashtag Clear to Soar for me? If you're in it, there's 100 and let me see how many. Clear to Soar. There's 175 women in this group right now, and it's a paid container. So if you just see the name of the group and you go like, oh, I'm just gonna go like let myself in there, like, no, you're not. It's a paid container. It's $444 to just join right now. That's the going rate for it, Clear to Soar. And inside Clear to Soar, a lot of what I've just grazed in terms of energetics and like reparenting and healing, we've been doing the deep work on. Because selfishly, out of these 175 women, like I'm going to be giving away on the 28th $100,000 in mentorship dispersed between women inside of Clear to Soar. Dispersed. So I decided that I wanted to till the ground a little bit before I invite these women in. Before I hand out like, here's a $3,000 to come work with me. Here's $5,000 to come work with me. Here's $7,000 to come work with me. Here's $10,000 to come work with me. Like before I hand over like here's your invitation, I'm like, I very strategically wanted to craft winners. I wanted to give these women a leg up. I wanted to collapse time around my 3-year healing journey, okay? So I pulled the best of my own healing journey and decided to like put it in 15 days together. And it's happening right now. So it's absolutely not too late to join that space. Not at all. I'm actually thinking of like extending access to it so that people can go through it a little bit longer past the end of the holidays. I'm thinking about that. So if the concepts of masculine and feminine energy and like reparenting oneself and emotional intelligence and like really harvesting the good out of the bullshit you grew up with, if that sounds like the next move for you, I want to invite you into Clear to Soar tonight. It's $444 tonight. Tomorrow it's going to $555. So it's $444 tonight. Tomorrow it's going to be $555. And within that space of Clear to Soar, I'm giving away $100,000 in mentorship money for women to come and work with me. And I'm ready to walk with women who all of what I've said these last days lands with them. Women who understand that there is a healing journey available for them, and also wealth to be created and gifts to be developed, and they're ready to soar. So if you'd like to get some of your hands potentially on that money, and you'd like the opportunity to do a program with me that next year is going to be $2,000 and it's $444 right now, Clear to Soar is your space, and you want to grab it tonight because it's going up by $100 overnight. So if my team is live, could you guys put the link to Clear to Soar? that would be helpful. So that's 444. That would be an obvious next move if this has landed for you. Now, on the 28th, I'm going to be pulling names. I think we're going to use like one of those number generators. Those are cool to do it. But just by being part of Clear to Soar and doing the activations in that space, your name has gone into the draw. And I'm going to be giving away mentorship money. Now, in the next little bit here, I want to detail what you can use your money on so that you have time to think about it. And for those of you who are not aligned with Clear to Soar, but you want to know, what do I mean when I'm talking about like Locked and Loaded and MDM and private mentorship and like learning entrepreneurship, walking with a mentor? If that makes you curious, I'm just going to detail some of it out for you, because I know that there's been people who have watched my journey specifically since 2018 and they're like, what the hell are you doing? And I would like to give you a clear-cut description of what the hell I'm doing. So here we go. Number one, the closest access to me is something called private coaching. Tonight, it's $11,000 a month times 3 months, and it's only paid in full. So to have a private line to me, private access to me, and it's voice only, right? For that option, it's $33,000 right now for 3 months. That price is going up by 30%. So if you've been looking for a high performance mentor for business who understands energetics, organic marketing, brand image, and you want to walk closely with someone so that no one else knows your business, and you've been looking for your next private mentor and this feels aligned, that is the price tag. It is going up by 30%. Next year, private mentorship with me is going to be a 1-year container for $100,000, and there will be no negotiations and no discounts. If you only select 3 months, it'll be way more than that, like $44,000 for 3 months. I prefer walking with people for a year because I know that the traction that one gets in 90 days is often just the beginning. It's like the top of the iceberg. It's the tip. And I don't know about you, but I don't want just the tip. Okay. So there's private mentorship. It's $33,000 right now. That price is going up. If you want it, message my team. The second way in 2023 that we can work together is something that we shorthand MDM. I'm glad someone else laughed about that. Tennille, thanks for having my back, girl. Penis jokes. Listen, it is what it is. So the second place that you can work together with me in 2023, that's still a lot of access where, you can chat with me multiple days a week. It's called MDM, otherwise known as the $1 Million Mentorship. Now, I have some disclaimers about this space. This is typically purchased by people who are already doing like 6 figures a year. Typically. That doesn't mean you have to be, but that's typical. The $1 Million Mentorship is for someone who's actually certain that they're on the trajectory of making $1 million. Maybe not next year, but at some point soon. Like without any pressure, they want to come in and they want to walk with a mentor who can show them strategy, emotional intelligence, energetics, and really model what it looks like to build $1 million brand. And aside from private coaching, this is the closest access to me. Both of these offers do contain my programs, so you'll notice that I teach masterclasses and programs every single month. There's always something that I'm teaching, and so both of those spaces include my programs. But the point of private mentorship and MDM, the $1 Million Mentorship, is it's more access to me. Like you get to know more of the journey. You get more access to have your questions answered like rapidly. You get more space for private coaching. You get more space for masterminds, right? If you have an immediate need, like you're typically going to get it answered really fast. It's just closer proximity. In my opinion, the more time you spend with your mentor, the faster that your results happen. That's just been my experience. And it's not that when I have private mentorship or that I'm in a mastermind, it doesn't mean that I want to use it every day, but it's kind of like an insurance policy. It's like you might not need it every day and you might not use it every day, but fuck, on the day that you need it, you need it. And that is the vibe. So, $1 Million Mentorship, because it does have more access, that space is another disclaimer that I want to say. It's more expensive than Locked and Loaded because there's more of my time and attention on it. And it's a pay in full only. So this is a really tight-knit group of high-performance entrepreneurs. Most of them are already like as families doing 6 figures or higher. This is typical in that space. So you're going to be walking into a really high-level sisterhood and women who treat each other sacredly. Like the space is phenomenal. And because of the level of sisterhood that's there and openness and like elegance and prestige in that space, I can't afford to have people come in and out. So there's no longer even a possibility of having a single month inside of that space or a payment plan. It's a fuck no for me. So that space right now is again around $30,000 paid in full, and it takes you from now until the end of May. So that's like a 5-month experience. MDM, 5 months, $30,000. It's a mastermind that I'm in several days a week. So if you're watching live, if you could just write this down in the comments so that I know that you're tracking. MDM, $30K, paid in full, 5 months. Voila. The next space that I want to talk about, and if you end up being one of the people that wins $10,000 inside of Clear to Soar, like this is stuff you might want to know. Because if you've had your eyes on MDM or if you've had your eyes on, private mentorship and you end up getting $10,000, you might want to know where you want to stick that. So I'm just going to give you all the options right now because there's people that I bet are going to upgrade into the next thing, etc. So the next space that I still consider a very premier experience, it's called Locked and Loaded. Locked and Loaded. Okay, be ready. Tonight, Locked and Loaded is $11K paid in full. There's also an option to do payment installments. 12-month commitment for $1,111 a month. Locked and Loaded is considered our all-access pass to everything that I teach. This last year, included with Locked and Loaded, I'm going to tell you what people got. For their monthly fee, their membership, their yes in this space, they got every free masterclass in here, obviously, because the whole world gets that. And on top of that, 10 micro courses with live Q&As, 10 full-length programs on everything that it took for me to build into 6 figures and then 7 figures in business. The actual business strategies. Like this isn't just like, I'm just going to motivate you every month and like tell you like, you can do it, pat your back. No, like I freaking teach you the art of business, starting with profitability, how to set your pricing. Do you remember day 1 and day 2 when I said I made a $500,000 mistake? I didn't know how the hell to price anything and nobody was available that I knew of to teach me what I was doing wrong or look at my shit. My first $500,000 made in business was not profitable. I would like to collapse time and remove the possibility of that happening to anyone in my circle. So the first thing we talk about is profitability and pricing. What are your rates? That's number 1. From there, we go into audience growth mode, which I call internet icons. And this is the practical things about like what to post, where to post, and why to post. It's your content strategy for growing an audience. If you're live, write audience growth mode because that's part and parcel, number 2, to Locked and Loaded. like clue. You cannot share your gift with an empty room. So you got to build that audience growth mode. Then we go into things like offer to launch, which is how do you actually take your gifting and turn it into viable offers. And once you have an offer, which we generate offers inside of that 6 weeks together, once you have your offer, I teach you how to launch it organically in the online space using social media. Offer to launch. Once you've got viable offers and you're taking it into the online space and you start putting yourself out there as an authority, from there, I teach you feminine, energetics-led selling. I believe in that. I actually dropped a fire reel about that in the last 24 hours if you watch my reels on Instagram or Facebook. But I believe in consent, informed consent. I want women to know whether we are a good match before they buy anything. And I also want women to buy exactly what they feel aligned to buying with zero pressure on their timeline. And it's just my job to show up and invite people into my world, which is what I'm doing tonight. And I teach the strategy for this inside of another 6-week program together. We also go into the divine masculine of your business, which is like the processes. This year, we're rolling out things we've never done before, like admin type stuff, OBM type stuff that we've never shown before, like the bones of business. Giving you a divine masculine structure to actually take your offers, stack them, and scale your business, the strategy portion. And the entire year is laced with programs around energetics and emotional intelligence because as your business grows, you have to grow. You have to grow. You're going to have new fires that you've never had before. You're going to have to grow. So we have programs like Legendary and Iconic. It's like, it's the strategy and the energetics. And like lovingly, I don't know of another mentor who's doing exactly what I'm doing. And that's what makes me so confident to offer this and say, to me, it's one of the coolest things online right now. I actually can't think of anyone who teaches exactly what I teach, which is so fun. So locked and loaded. You lock in for a year to get loaded. It's $11,000 right now. The actual value of it, when you take into account all of those programs, plus the VIP access, you get mastermind access with me. 1 day a month I come in and I coach all day long. And we're adding things to Locked and Loaded that we didn't have last year. A level of like mastery and structure that was not part of the game last year, but somebody hashtag the words elevate the game. In Locked and Loaded, we are elevating the game. So that space, total value of it is about $35,000, which is so cool and going up because of the OBM stuff that we're adding in. That space is $11,000 tonight or payment plans of $1,111 per month for a strict 12 months. A strict 12 months. If you leave, you can't come back, period. It's a strict 12 months. It's a sisterhood. It affects everybody if you come in for a month and leave. So it's a sisterhood, 12-month commitment, $1,111 per month. And overnight, so if you wait till tomorrow morning, it's going up to $15,000. So it's taking a price hike, $4,000 price hike overnight. So I don't know who's looking for like their next move in business, but if you were looking and this has felt like a good sequence these last 3 days together, that to me is the premier invitation for next year. Locked and Loaded. Now, before I move into a couple other micro offers, this is what I want to say. If you're in a place like Clear to Soar, okay, and you're like, I really want my name drawn. Like, I want to see if my name gets drawn. This is what I want to say about the 3 things that I just described. The prices are going up. Specifically, Locked and Loaded is happening overnight. private mentorship, etc., are going to go up in a short period of time. So what I want to say to you is, if it's already on your mind to get it, and you're just interested to see if your name will get drawn and if you win money towards it, here's how it works. I would secure it tonight. Locked and loaded, at least. I would secure at least your first monthly installment. I would do it tonight. Because if your name gets drawn, what we're going to do is we're going to take your winnings and we're going to pop it onto the ends of your payments if you're going to stay in payments. Or you can do a paid in full and we'll just remove that amount. But if you buy locked and loaded tonight, you're locking in your price at the best available value. Do you see what I mean? So if this is on your heart and you already knew that you were going to do it anyways, put your first installment in tonight. And if your name gets drawn for the 100K giveaway, we can take it off the end. Does that make sense? Are you tracking? If you're tracking, right, tracking. So ladies on my team, if you guys can put the monthly installment for locked and loaded, the 1,111, if there's somebody who wants to do that, or if anyone wants the paid in full, here's the difference. If you are wanting locked and loaded and you buy it as a pay in full, you save about $2,000 when you pay it in full for the year up front. With the payment plan options for locked and loaded, you end up paying around $13,000. The pay in full saves you $2K. So even if you did a paid in full tonight and you end up like winning cash, you can always use it for upgrades, etc. So these are some options. I just want to tell you the smartest way to do things. At minimum, put in your first monthly payment for locked and loaded. If you were deciding to do it, I would do it tonight before the price goes up. Okay. Moving into a couple other topics before we wrap out for, gosh, this has been such a good thing. Like finale. I have a little bit more to say, but Isaiah, oh my God. Hi friend, what's going on? What I want to say about that difference, when I was talking about like, okay, you have payment plan options, which I'm a big fan of. I think that there should be flexibility and ways for women to like flex with their money and move and grow. But the paid in full option, after having done many masterminds, many payment plans, putting shit on credit cards, what I want to say about paid in full is that I live from a place of groundedness. And I care about my clients' nervous systems. Anybody else? Nervous system, like, matters to you? Okay. I have felt the pinch of having payment installments coming out for higher ticket coaching. I have felt the dread of knowing that my card was getting run and wondering if the card would clear. The like, oh shit moment. I have been in a high ticket masterminds where I spent $120,000 to be there. And every month when the payment came out, I had anxiety the days leading up to it. And I had anxiety the day of. And it was like, it robbed me of the pleasure of the experience of just being in the mentorship and being coached. And so with zero pressure, so if you're live, type with zero pressure, I just want to invite you to the knowing that when you pay in full for your mentorship, for your year in locked and loaded, for your 5 months $1 million mentorship, for 3 months or a year of mentorship with me, like when you pay in full and you just knock it out up front, even if you use debt or put it on a card to do it, like when you don't have the monthly payments, your nervous system is more landed. So I'm not telling you what to do with your money. I'm not saying you have to pay in full, because we have so much recurring income from clients that are on payment plans, and I love it. And if it works for you, it works for you. But my experience has been that my nervous system is hella grounded when I don't have monthly installments to do. I would much rather put it on a card or split payments between places and pay it all up front, get the best price, get the paid in full discount, and then never have to worry again about that payment clearing every month. Do you know what I mean? Like, anybody who's got anxiety around money, it serves you to do a pay in full. So with zero pressure, I just want to invite you to just understanding why we have each one. We have the monthly installments if that's what's available for you and that's all that's possible. But if you can manage a pay in full, I would highly recommend A, for the discount for you, the perks and the benefits of the discount. You'll save a couple $1,000s when you pay in full, A, and B, your nervous system will not be activated every month waiting for the freaking payment to come out. So just a thought, just a pro tip. I don't do payment plans no more personally because I just want to like pay it and enjoy it. Okay, so moving into the finale, the last couple invitations and places for you, okay? I believe in something called equitable pricing, which means I do free masterclasses every month. You can always go back and binge watch this content. The guide section in the space is full of masterclasses, over a year's worth of masterclasses. Every month we've dropped something. Well, 11 months this year. I skipped 1 month, right? Black Friday was a bitch. Like, in the best way, but it was a lot. Anyways, so there's like 11 or so masterclasses that you can go back and binge. I'm here for the free content. I'm here for you getting to know me and me getting to know you and you finding out if I'm a right next move for you. That's a huge reason that I create this type of content. From there, I have things at every single price range. I have spaces for entrepreneurs where like maybe you are like dying to join Locked and Loaded, but you're like, frick, like that's not for me right now financially. It's just not possible. Here's what I want to tell you. There's something else available for you called 7-Figure Secrets, where it's not every program, but it is business strategy for people who are building towards 6 and 7 figures. So if my team would be so kind, can you guys put the link for 7-Figure Secrets membership? That is a space for women and men entrepreneurs. This is my first space that I'm offering to guys in 2023, which is really cool. The next actual training, and it goes live tomorrow. How exciting. So if you wanted to tap in tonight, you'll have something already tomorrow. You retain recordings and access to every single month. I teach a afternoon workshop on something that I'm doing in real time to build my next 6 or 7 figures. So it's the most up-to-date social media and business strategy that I'm using in real time, and I break it down in afternoon workshops for my clients. The workshops are typically going to go for like 2 hours or so in the afternoon. You're welcome to join them live and have the possibility of getting laser coached if that feels good for you, or you can retain access on replay as part of your membership. That one, team, I don't know if XMH team, if you guys can drop the link, but I want to say it's under $100 a month right now, which is pretty freaking cool. So that one is called 7-Figure Secrets, and we're only on the 2nd installment. It starts tomorrow. Thanks, Ray Ray. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Another place that you could jump into if you're like, yeah, I really am feeling your vibes. I don't know quite yet about Locked and Loaded, but I want a something. The second place that I would invite you to be in is called Clear to Soar. I've already mentioned it a little bit in here, but that's like an emotional up level to the gods. I literally took some of the most powerful emotional work that I've done since 2018 to really reparent and help myself grow. And I put them all inside of a place called Clear to Soar. That space is $444 right now. Next year, it's going to be a $2,000 program. So this is like your chance to get in on some emotional up level, especially around the holidays. The feedback from this has been one of the most remarkable things that I've done the entire year. I have zero regrets about this, and I'm obsessed. So that's okay. Awesome. Thank you, Raven. She's dropping prices for 7-Figure Secrets. Perfect. So Clear to Soar is available tonight for $444. Tomorrow morning it goes up to $555. I'm going to put one more micro invitation out there, which is really fun. I've talked a lot in the last 3 days about masculine and feminine energetics. And there are some of you who are like, I need to understand this more. Like, what is that? I've talked a lot about emotional intelligence, which has been one of my biggest flexes in the last few years that has contributed to us having $1 million sales year this year. There's a space that's called the sisterhood. Anybody in the sisterhood already? This year I had a secret space that met once a month. It's like a little mini community of women who decided to walk together in sisterhood and increase our emotional intelligence. And every single month I taught one of the 10 tenets that I use for emotional regulation. And you don't have to be an entrepreneur to benefit from this. Like, all women are welcome. But if you are an entrepreneur, it's going to help you freaking flex. So the other emotional intelligence program aside from Clear to Soar that I would recommend is called the Sisterhood. This is the least expensive, like, jump into it opportunity that I have for 2023. I believe right now it's $44 a month or $444 paid in full. And we're going to increase that price again here shortly as Clear to Soar comes to a close. So those are a bunch of things that we could do together. And I trust that your own inner guidance system is going to help you to know what's right for you. In my world, there is zero pressure, only incentives. And when it feels right, I got you. But what I do want to take you back to is day one, where I said a lot of you have undeveloped skill. You are a diamond uncut. You've already been through so much. You're a fighter. You're made for this. But you're acting like you have a lot of time. I've already read one comment from Heather, who's already signed up for Locked and Loaded for 2023, and she's hearing me describe Locked and Loaded of 2022, and she's like, damn it, I wish I would have joined last year. And by far and away, one of the comments that I get all the time from my clients are, where were you 7 years ago? I needed this 7 years ago. I wish I would have known you a few years ago. If I would have started when you did, I would be so much further ahead. And what I want to say is, like, that's a pain of regret that you don't have to have. But you actually have to treat the time like it's valuable. There are some of you that are like a year away from having your gifts totally developed. But you've got to realize that you don't have years and years and years to do this. Like, you're in a prime spot in your life to develop your skill and take it seriously. So without pressure, just an invitation to look at, like, what if this was your year? What if this is the moment? In the last 24 hours, we stepped into the first day of winter, 2022. We literally crossed into a new season during this masterclass. That was intentional. Like, what if you are the person? What if this is the season? What if this is the time that you're going to look back on the first day of winter, 2022, and you're going to be like, oh my God, like, that was the day that I decided. That's when my life changed. I can look back to 2018 and people ask me all the time. They're like, what changed? I've watched you. I get people send me inbox messages all the time that say, thank you for healing publicly. Thank you for letting us watch your journey of how you healed. You're so different. And I can tell you exactly where I was sitting on the couch in the living room of where I live right now. My husband was out of town and I was watching a masterclass like this. I was watching a video, bawling my freaking eyes out. And I had no idea really what I was saying yes to. I wish it would have been a little bit more transparent because my nervous system could have calmed down. I didn't even know what I was saying yes to. But I could feel this person's heart and I could tell she was a diamond. And I was like, that's the energy that I've been looking for. Like, I've been looking for a mentor to walk closer with. Like, she's my girl. And I have a gut feeling that there's some of you here tonight that that's going to be your story. A year from now, you're going to look back at this night. You're going to look back to Diamonds Uncut. You're going to walk through the process in 2023 of being shaped as a diamond. Coming in with all of your raw power, who you already are. Me seeing you for the power that you are. Ready to walk side to side? We're going to do it together. And you're going to look back on this and be like, remember the red dress video? Oh my God. Like, that's going to be the thing. And that's who these last 3 days were for. So, if you have any questions whatsoever, you can message me personally, my team, Jessie Ferguson on my team. She helps me with the inbox. You might be speaking with Jessie. You might be speaking with me. I would invite you, if you have any questions, you want links, you want payment plan options, if you want to do a paid in full, but you've got to split it between multiple different cards, like whatever you want help with, we've got you. And the real time sensitive thing is that Locked and Loaded goes up in price overnight. So if you're ready to make a move, just get in the inbox. This has been a masterpiece of a year walking with you guys in this space. Thank you for this year. Thank you for being here. Thank you for who you are. This content will stay up. Binge watch it, revisit it, treat the guide section like your personal development YouTube. And when you're ready for a move, I'm here. All right, I love you guys.